At round 9 in the Pacific Northwest, KTM's Marvin Musquin made up 15 points in a single afternoon on points leader Jeremy Martin.
Look at this.
Musquin had to get it done here at Washougal in the mud, and he does. Checkered flag is out. Marvin Musquin takes it.
With 3 rounds remaining, the championship rivals come to Central New York looking for momentum.
Like he did right there, take the line away, make sure no one can jump it back. He gets a pass made. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a little bit for the overall gain. He just got around his main rival.
An early season injury has left Cooper Webb 9th in the series standings, but the 2-time race winner has emerged as the wild card in the title fight.
Cooper Webb, back-to-back overall wins in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross.
The 250 championship is heading to the start at historic Unadilla.
The rolling hills and green pasture lands of upstate New York are the host site of round 10 of the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross Championship, sanctioned by MA Pro Racing and the Red Bull Unadilla National. Hello everyone, and welcome once again to MAV TV's live coverage of Pro Motocross. 2 straight hours of racing in the 250 and 450 class coming your way with Jason Wygant and multi-time motocross and supercross champion Grant Langston. Here's the big picture as we come into Unadilla. Cooper Webb inserting himself in the title chase now as a spoiler. Missed a bunch of rounds early, but he has won 2 in a row, and I don't think he cares much about the guys that are leading this championship fight, so he's going to be a factor today for sure. Now, as far as the title is concerned, Marvin Musquin did not win our last race, but he made up 15 points on title rival Jeremy Martin, so only 4 separate them coming into this one. And in the 450 class, another budding battle between Ryan Dungey and Justin Barcia. They have split the last 4 rounds, 2 wins apiece. This is Barcia's home state race here in upstate New York. So Grant, we'll swing it over to you. Unadilla, completely unique type of track, and big things have happened here in the past. Some good, some bad. So what do you think is going to happen today?
Well, we've heard from the riders the roost is not as bad as it's been in the past, so they've got some good dirt on the track. It starts off all grass, looks beautiful, but as it gets later in the day, it gets a lot of rocks, a lot of chop, a lot of holes. So for these guys, very challenging track, very easy to make a mistake on. But we did see some guys looking really good in practice. I'm going to keep my eye out for Christophe Purcell. I think he might just surprise everyone in that 450 class.
Yeah, he won the 250 class last year, and he is a marvel on a rough race track like this. So we'll see how he does against the best of the business in the 450 class. But 250s are up first. Let's send it to Georgia Lindsay with the GoPro starting gate.
Okay, so Aaron Plessinger, congratulations on 2 weeks ago, your first podium. You had a weekend off to digest that. Does that give you some confidence coming into Unadilla?
Oh, definitely. I rode pretty great the last race, and it just moves over onto this race, and I'm hoping to bring my speed and talent with ruts into this race, so hopefully be up on the box again.
Best of luck. Thank you, Aaron. The other side of me, we have our points leader, Jeremy Martin. Now this weekend, your bike's looking a bit different. We've got the 60th anniversary of Yamaha. You're riding yellow, but still a Yamaha.
Yeah, no, the bike's looking pretty trick. A lot of people have been saying, man, that thing looks great, and it's really cool for Yamaha, and it's a big deal. So looking forward to getting it up on the box today. And
of course, it has that red plate. Well, best of luck. Thank you, Jeremy.
Has a red plate, but only by 4 points over Marvin Musquin. So we're set for another showdown of the 250s, and we'll get started right after this. Just about 5 minutes before we go racing here, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross on MAV TV. We're ready for our 250 class. Why do we call it the 250 class? Well, there's 2 different sizes of engines that will compete today, the 250s, and then we'll have the bigger 450cc engines after this. Each class will run 2 motos, and then in each class we'll total those 2 motos up to determine a pair of overall winners. And this is round 10 of 12 in the points-paying championship this year. Show you what it's like to race and ride at Unadilla. Kawasaki track map. Grant?
Unadilla, one of the most beautiful settings on the outdoor series. Tricky first turn. It's a 90-degree, but everyone's sweeping in, running out of real estate. Obviously, everyone are going for that motorsport.com hole shot. And you go past Fran Mechanics here around the control tower. Here, you drop into a bit of a dip, step up. Huge crowd on hand today, especially up in this section. Then off the Red Bull, drop off through Gravity Cavity, and then you launch out the other side, which is actually the Lucas Oil finish line jump, through the sweeper, past the VIP section. and this is actually a decent-sized double. Goes down in the dip, left, right, start climbing to the lower part of the track, going towards the back. Long ruts through these kind of sections, those sweeping turns. Track's going to get brutally rough as the day goes on. One of those tabletops, another U-turn. Then you come back to this section. A lot of rollers through here. Swing right, and then they've actually made a double section through here. Key to make sure you get through those doubles clean every lap. And this one of the trickiest sections of the track. This is a off-camber right-hander going up the hill. The wheels just wanting to wash away from you. Keep the speed because you got to do that step up. Then you hit to the back part of the track. Start dropping downhill a little bit. Click up a couple gears. Get that bike sideways. Try and scrub that. Obviously on the last lap if you're leading, then you can get sideways. Down to the bottom, a little chicane. Step up, back up the hill. And then the trickiest section on the track, in my opinion, without a doubt, drop off into the U-turn, hard on the brakes. It's off-cambered, very difficult to get the bike slowed down, then immediately back on the gas. Keep your weight forward so you don't loop up, back up the hill, through a couple more jumps, one more turn, down the start straight, and that's a lap here at Unadilla.
And riders have completed their sighting lap. There's Jesse Nelson. You see the GoPro Hero Cam on top of his helmet. Lucas Oil Troy Lee Designs KTM rider. And this is him earlier today in practice with the GoPro functioning. And we'll show you what it's like to ride at Unadilla.
Yeah, just went through gravity cavity, which is then over the finish line jump. You can tell earlier in the day, the track actually looked really good. Had good traction. Not super rough yet, but it's going to get rougher as the day goes on. See here, the guy's still able to pick the inside, but watch this section coming up. Look at that already. This is early in practice. Long ruts developing. They're just going to get deeper and deeper. Guys will have to start searching for different lines. And then this is coming to one of the higher speed sections. Listen to this 250 screaming.
Man, yeah, it's hard, especially that section of the course, very fast. The rider who handled it best, maybe no surprise, Marvin Musquin was your Bud Light fast qualifier. This happened in the first session. The track was quite a bit slower in the second session where Jeremy Martin came out on top. This all begs the question. The general thought is this is a European-like track. They did host Grand Prix events for a long, long time in the 70s and 80s. You've raced Grand Prix, you've raced in the United States. Does it favor a rider like Musquin or not?
I think him specifically, maybe a little bit. We've definitely seen in the past the French riders tend to do relatively well at this track, and I think a lot of that reasoning is it's a little more like the French track. I raced Grand Prix, but I didn't really have a lot of success at this track, and I didn't enjoy it that much either. So it depends on the rider. Here's our upcoming schedule. Yeah,
well, today we'll have our first motos on MAV TV. You're watching them right now. Be sure to tune in for our second 450 Moto live at 4 Eastern on NBC, and then NBCSM with our second 250 Moto. And then next week, the next to last round from Miller Motorsports Park in Utah, live coverage on MAV TV. You got to switch over to a different time zone, though. That's Mountain Time. 3 o'clock Eastern will be our first motos. NBCSN will give you coverage of motos 2 for the 450s and 250s. So that's your upcoming television schedule. Well, at the top of the show, Georgia talked to Jeremy Martin. Yamaha celebrating their 60th anniversary, so the normally blue YZ250Fs are yellow today because that's the old school Yamaha color, and even a retro styled number 1. Looks like one you just get at a bike shop to stick on there instead of the big stylized one he normally runs. Fly Racing card is up. This is Moto 1. Cooper Webb has won the last 2 races overall. He's 9th in points because he missed 4 rounds with injury. So he's just a spoiler at the moment. What does Cooper Webb and the rest of these guys need to do to try to win here today?
Obviously, the first thing, get a good start. This track gets a lot of roost, and with those long ruts, hard to switch up lines, so a good start really helps out. At this point in the season, there's no room for mistakes. Martin, Musquin, all these guys, they need every single point possible. And we're talking about Cooper Webb.
Oh, yeah.
Who's going to be the spoiler today? There's always a spoiler out there somewhere. Cooper Webb's done it 2 weeks in a row. Can he have any influence on the outcome of this championship?
Yeah, and it's not just Webb winning the motos. A mud race at our last one at Washougal, Jeremy Martin got a bad start. He finished 9th in the first moto. So there were essentially 7 spoilers outside of Musquin in front of him. So in this class, it's pretty deep. You don't get that start, you make a mistake, you're going to lose points in a hurry. Here we go from Unadilla.
Oh, someone jumped and hit the gate.
Yeah. Stuck back there. One of the Kawasaki's going to edge everyone out. It's a 37 of Joey Savacci with the motorsport.com hole shot. Monster Energy Pro Circuit machine leading them around. And then it's Christian Craig. Second place, 68.
He's been one of the more consistent guys with good starts, and what's surprising is Christian Craig is probably one of the heaviest guys. He's just a big kid. And so he's obviously got that technique down very well, because we see him consistently near the front. And look at that, Marvin Musquin. See the little pre-jump there? He took off halfway up the face there. Pretty cool, pretty smart. But Musquin, this is what he needed. And look who's right behind him.
Jeremy Martin. So we have not seen the two title combatants hook it up much this year, but we have a perfect scenario. They're third and fourth. But watch out for Craig. He was absolutely dominating our first moto in the mud last week at Washougal until he crashed, but he had a 5-second lead at the moment. So he has the pace. And Savachi, fourth in the series standings, has been Musquin. What happened there?
I think he tried to squeeze in underneath Craig going up the inside, and there just wasn't room, not enough real estate there. And it looked like he actually may have just clipped the handlebar on the inside of the, the upright there, the plastic marker for the corner. Tipped over, lost a few spots, but more importantly is he allowed his arch rival get in front of him, and look who also separates him as well, one of his teammates. So Marvin didn't do himself any favors, and we've seen that a couple times from Marvin in the opening laps.
That's right.
To me, possibly a little impatient there, but it's that time of the season. You can't blame a guy. There's 6 motos. You got to go. There's no time to hang out.
Oh, and a quick pass here, trying to get around Plessinger on the 157, and he makes it happen.
Plessinger did not want to give that up.
No.
And I'm sure he knows at the end of the day, that's the guy that, he'll get some brownie points back at the race rig if he can make life difficult for Marvin Musquin. But Musquin, just a great run, had a great drive around the outside. Here's that really sharp 180 at the bottom of the hill. Big old U-turn. Camera really doesn't justify how steep it is.
Savachi has not led a lap so far this year. Like I said, he's been very consistent. Was up to third in points before Washougal, but
that's surprising to me that he hasn't led a lap.
Hadn't led a lap,
like he's been
third in points at one issue of the season. Yep.
Crazy.
About to have one here. That's the point we're getting at. I don't think Craig is going to pass him by the 2 turns that remain on this lap. But, Chris Aldridge up to third. Shout out to him. Remember, this guy was third overall at our first race of the year at Hangtown, and we have not seen much of him since. And the insiders tell me he got a bit of a talking to from his boss, Mitch Payton, who is not shy of laying down the law if he doesn't believe his riders are performing as they should. So I heard a little talking to after Washougal. Seems to have worked for the 66.
Also, too, you got to keep in mind, this is where he debuted as a pro right here last year. So this is the first time for him. He's actually going back to a national track.
Okay, so maybe that's paying off.
That's helping a little bit.
I'll tell you, what a performance by Musquin.
He's coming right back.
Yeah, he is one pass on Jordan Smith away from being right back in it with Jeremy Martin. 126 is Smith on the inside.
This corner here, unfortunately, the outside hasn't been able to form yet, but I think as that inside gets deeper, look at Marvin, he's got to run. And he's got the inside into this corner if he can just hold it. Man, these bikes are bouncing around already. You can see the suspension really has to work on this track. And the other thing that catches guys out sometimes is the unexpected things, like you're in a rut and all of a sudden a rock is sticking out and it clips your front wheel or your rear wheel.
Man, that's walking a tightrope for Musquin on the outside of that section. Hey, our old buddy Jeff Emig used to say in the shows, as the series goes on and you have 2 guys fighting for a title, they start raising the intensity. They have to.
Yeah.
And the other riders become less of a factor. We saw Musquin take some serious chances to make passes.
Yeah.
And it worked. Are we going to start seeing more of these types of scenarios?
I think so, because when the guys both really, really want it, they're able to just find a little bit extra. And you're right. It seems to be that your title contenders almost separate themselves just a little bit. But in this class, there's so many good riders. If any one of these 2 guys, talking about Martin or Musquin, don't get the start, there's a dozen other riders that can win at the moment. I mean, there's a lot of guys knocking on the door for their first career win.
Yeah, I didn't expect Musquin to be able to make up 4 positions in a lap like he just did. So now we'll shift the focus to Martin here, and this has been a bit of a story for him. You mentioned Musquin has made a lot of mistakes in the opening laps. Martin has just had a lot of races where he doesn't get going. He's just in 4th right now. That's not bad. But you would think, oh, he's points leader. Musquin's in the back. He's got to get to the front. A lot of times we've seen the first 10, 15 minutes of Moto 1 where he just hovers in this spot.
See right there, just a little mistake. But where he's also smart, he doesn't force the issue. He's not going to put himself on the ground. He's sitting in 4th place at the moment, but he's only, let's see when they cross the finish line, 3.6 seconds out of the lead. So, there's no need to panic whatsoever. He would be, I'm trying to see the total time, 5 seconds. Yeah,
Still plenty of time to work with 5 seconds.
Exactly, especially with someone like him. He can make that up in the last 2 laps.
And in the mechanics area, is this Cooper Webb? No.
That's Plessinger.
Yeah.
And he was up there because we just saw Marvin get around him. I wonder if there was
And Georgia has a report on Plessinger. What happened?
It must have been a point where he went down slightly because his mechanic grabbed the bike, and you know how they kick the front of the bike to try and straighten it out. The handlebars and the front forks must have got twisted, so they give it a kick, try and straighten it out as much as possible, and then head straight back on track. Yes, that is the accurate laser alignment in motocross parlance. You just kick the front wheel until it's straight again.
Straight-ish.
Yeah, yeah.
It's never perfect. It's just, there's nothing worse, especially with these long runs to the track when the front end's twisted, so it feels like you're turning, but you're going in a straight line.
That's difficult. So, Aldridge is third, Craig second, Savacci continues to lead. Then you have Martin and Muscan right behind them. Smith sixth, Webb seventh, Nelson, McElrath, and Alex Martin round out the top 10. So we're kind of waiting to see who makes the move here. Will Muscan go after Martin? Will Martin go after the 3 in front of him?
Aldridge?
Or are Savacci, Craig, and Aldridge, are they gonna roll here?
Aldridge actually looks like he might just be the guy with just a little more pace at the moment, because he actually pulled away a little bit, well, I'll say that, and then Martin closed back up. But I think he's pulling Martin and Muscan with him, because he closed up there definitely on Craig, who then seemed to bunch up a little bit closer to Savacci.
And you saw the yellow 17 at that U-turn there. That's Webb, who won the last 2 races overall. 7th place for him right now. Actually 8th. He's battling it out with Nelson. So kind of waiting for things to unwind here.
The calm before the storm.
The calm before the storm, and taking advantage of it all.
You got a feeling it's going to happen, because
you got to think so.
You know it's not going to finish this way. That I would put money down on. It's not going to stay this way. Your top 5 aren't going to finish the exact same way they are right now, but
yeah, not with the title contenders in the mix. They know they've got to move forward, but shout out to Savacci and Aldridge and Craig. Very impressive rides. Yeah,
they're running a really great pace at the moment. 2:15.9. We didn't see quicker times in obviously practice and qualifying, but we also do know that this track just typically just gets slower as the day goes on. It will slow down as ruts get deeper, braking bumps get bigger. Because the other thing is, when in sections where they're on the gas, you even get acceleration bumps, so the rear wheel's hopping, so you're not even getting drive out of the corner like you would, earlier in the day.
Aldridge closing up a bit on Craig, and now Martin closing up a bit on Aldridge. So there they are, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all in one shot. Martin trying to make some moves while he's got his championship contending rival, Muscan, behind him. Be right back. Throughout the pack here at the Red Bull Unadilla National, and taking advantage of that, your leader here in the first 250 moto of the day, Joey Savacci, had not led a lap so far this year until now. He is hammering it at the moment. He's led every lap so far, about 5 deep into Unadilla, and his lead is 3.5 seconds. But as we said, there's battles behind him. Jeremy Martin, series leader, who was 4th, made a quick pass on Christian Craig, quick pass on Chris Aldridge, and there you see he's by himself now in 2nd. Aldridge trying to stay with him, but once Martin gets going, he's hard to stop.
And while this is all going on, Marvin Muscan's got a front row seat of watching this happen, and that yellow number 1 is starting to become just a little more distant to Muscan. So a little bit of panic maybe sitting in. This is how it happened. Watch Aldridge. This pass is, I'm really impressed with this youngster's move. Watch this. He just launches over that double and just takes the line away. And that, I think, almost upset Christian Craig through that turn, and Martin just capitalized on someone who was unsuspecting. Then right after that, Martin went around the outside, and Aldridge just had a look at him because he came onto that, jumped, stepped up, but was able to keep it lower, got the power to the ground, and able to out-drag Chris Aldridge.
And we're about to log another lap here, so we'll see if Martin is closing on your leader, Savacci, or not. Aldridge still there, and now Muscan has gotten around Craig. So as quickly as Jeremy Martin picked it up, something has gone wrong for the 68 of Craig, because he has lost a bunch of spots, going from 2nd to 5th.
Sometimes it just is tough for these guys. You're trying, you're right there, you're battling for the lead, and all of a sudden, he comes left of you, this guy passes you on the right, and it takes the wind out of your sails. And you actually can lose your rhythm just by being passed, because it can be a little demoralizing. So that, or I know some guys do struggle with arm pump on this track because you have a tendency to hold on tighter because the bike's always chattering and dancing around.
Musquin all over Aldridge now.
Musquin had to. He knew it. When he saw Martin pull the trigger, you know deep down he was like, I gotta go. I've got to go with him. I can't let him get out of sight. And he can see Martin, a couple seconds up the road, but as long as he can see him, Musquin's not going to panic at this point.
And who we don't see is Cooper Webb, who is now up to 6th, but a pretty good distance back. He's about 7 seconds behind Musquin, who is in 4th. So Webb, who had won the last 2 races overall, and probably coulda, shoulda, woulda won at Red Buddy, had the speed to win 3 in a row. Not the same factor so far early at Unadilla. So we'll see if Webb gets up toward the front a little bit later in this race. We're nearing the halfway mark. Musquin already had an early crash, blitzed his way back forward. Here's Craig, 5th, and here is Webb in 6th. That's a sizable gap. I think he was closer earlier.
It just sometimes takes a little mistake for someone off, out of the camera's view, and one little bobble, you can lose several seconds, especially if you get cross-rutted or blow a turn. You can lose a lot of drive. I've seen guys make mistakes out of this corner, and literally they're clutching it up the hill just to get to the top and lose 5 to 10 seconds.
Wow. One section. We go back to Savacci, and guess what? The champ is here.
The champ is here.
That's right. Jeremy Martin is about to put a challenge to Savacci, who has already led near to the halfway point of this moto, and let's see what he can do.
And in the background, we saw a little sneak peek. Musquin is all over the back of Aldridge, so we got the battle for the lead and the battle for 3rd. 2 Kawasaki riders battling with the 2 title contenders.
Georgia, what do you hear on the 37?
Well, he was on the podium quite a few times this season. However, it was a really slow start for him. He had a few injuries. He'd had a concussion previously and was getting back to normal. Didn't ride much. However, at Millville, he said to me, I've changed a lot. I've worked with my family, my mental side of things, and things are starting to click. It's definitely showing right now. But as we know, the mental side of this sport is absolutely huge, isn't it, Grant?
Oh, it definitely is. In any sport, but especially in this sport, because you're out there by yourself. It's not like a team sport. If you're having a bit of a bad day, the coach can bench you and put in a sub. You're out there. Once that gate drops, there's nothing the team can do. There's nothing anyone can tell you. There's, all the pressure's on your shoulders. So when you have the confidence, it's a big deal. And Jason, you see what time it is?
Yeah, it's a big deal. Savacci led exactly half of this moto now.
15
We're 15 minutes in, 15 minutes to go. You could save 15% or more in your insurance by calling Geico. Or if you're Savacci, in about 15 minutes, you can deliver the first moto win of the year for this team. Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki. Now, they've been close a bunch. Savacci's had some good races, as Georgia mentioned, a podium just 2 rounds ago at Millville. And Adam Cincerillo was knocking on the door of a moto win until he went out with an injury. But this would be the first. They could take all the way to the checker, but it's a big if, because here comes Martin.
Yeah, and Aldridge actually was right there with Martin. I think he made one little bobble again, but Aldridge running a great pace. He's basically just following the reigning champ, picking up where he's gaining speed and where he's maybe got some better line options. Let's see what happens here. See Martin choosing to go the longer way around, but watch, you see that little hook there from Savacci? But Martin's line's also getting a little bit blown out. So, the lines continuously change. That's the thing with people. You can't just say, I'm going to go on all the insides or most of the insides, or I'm going to run all the outsides. The track changes during the moto. So these guys have to improvise, and they get to a point sometimes where, the rut gets deep enough and it's like, okay, it's to a point now, I don't think that's a premier line. I'm going to scan and look for other options and try a different line next lap. Usually if that works, they'll stick with that.
But what blows my mind when you talk about that is you're charging into a rut at speed, race pace,
while looking
that
at
you
other
haven't
lines.
ever, or that you haven't hit before. You run another line the first 7 laps, and all of a sudden you've got to switch. That cannot be easy to adapt on the fly like that and figure out how to ride it.
Well, to any of the kids out there listening, one of the best pieces of advice I could give you is you got to always look ahead, look far down the track, especially over like a jump like this. You got to look at the corner because you have a bird's eye view, and I swear, a bird's eye view helps open. It shows you things you don't normally see on a track. It's hard to explain if you haven't really raced, but look far down the track, start scanning and picking up your lines, make a commitment, make a decision, and stick with it.
Aldridge is getting back into the picture here,
Yeah.
literally. You can see him in some of the long shots.
Muskin was all over him, then all of a sudden Aldridge was on the back of Martin about half a lap ago, and where is Muskin? He has dropped off a couple seconds, so maybe a little bit of panic starting to set in with at the KTM camp, because once again, if Martin is able to get around Savachi, that's going to be another pretty big swing. That's going to be 7 points in advantage, and all of a sudden you go from 4 points to 11 in the lead. That hurts.
Cooper Webb is down.
And he's trapped under the bike.
He's not hurt. He just needs someone to lift. That's 200 plus pounds of motorcycle. You're not just going to kick that off of you.
And that's on the track map. I think I said that's like the toughest corner on the track. It's off camber, long runs, and you'll go off this drop off. A lot of times the bike will get unsettled. Watch the front. It's going. Cross-rutted. And unfortunately it flipped over on him. Like you said, not hurt, but when your legs are trapped like that, you could try He-Man the bike, but also to the exhaust pipe right there.
Oh, okay.
So you don't, sometimes you don't have the opportunity to push it off you.
So Savachi, through it all, continues to lead. Now the third rider in this team, Arno Tonis, out for the day. He had a great moto, third in the first moto at Washougal. Feels that his illness has flared back up from practice. I talked to him this morning. He said he felt good. Then he rode practice and decided to call it a day. But the two riders that remain, first and third, Savachi and Aldridge. But for how long will they stay in those positions? Because Jeremy Martin is digging in second on the number one to try to get Savachi for the lead.
See across the top of the screen, points breakdown, 25 points for a win, 3 points difference from first to second, then a 2 point difference all the way to sixth, and then after that from 6th to 20th, just 1 point increments down to 1. So 25 for a win. So you guys, if you can do the math, you can see right now Muskin could lose some valuable points, and nothing is more frustrating than to see the guys in front of you but still be losing the points, knowing that you're relatively close.
He's got to figure out something, because Martin is now in position to try to get Savachi for the lead. But credit to Savachi, 2 or 3 times we've seen the champ get close, and he's fended him off each time.
Which also makes me believe that the champ is not at all concerned. He's trying different lines, and if he goes to the outside, sometimes he loses a little bit of ground, and he goes, okay, that's not going to work.
Okay.
I won't pass him there. But he's got 1 or 2 outside lines that if he gets close to Savachi, he could pull the trigger and make it happen.
Hard
Did
landing
you see
from
that?
Martin.
Yeah.
Almost threw it away near the same section his teammate Webb went down, and that allows Savachi to continue to hold a little gap up front. 2 weeks from now, the Ironman National in Indiana. So that'll be very, very cool for whoever the lucky winner is. Maybe they will win a KX250F like the one that is winning the moto. Joey Savachi, originally from California, spent most of his riding and training years as an amateur at the Millsaps training facility in Georgia. Now lives in Florida at Ricky Carmichael's place and does his riding there. And you know who else does? Jeremy Martin. They both ride there, and this is your fight for the lead. Savachi and Martin.
Just like you said earlier, Jason, every time Martin loses a little bit of ground, he's able to find that pace and just creep his way back up. So I got a feeling with Martin, it's just a matter of time before he makes this work, but he's not going to go over his head. At this point, there's no need to panic, there's no need to rush. He's sitting in the driver's seat right now. He's letting Savachi have all the pressure on his shoulders. So for Martin, he goes, all right, I'm going to try and make it past near the end.
Oh, mistake by Savachi. Here comes Martin. Can he take advantage? Big double jump into a left-hander. This is where the fans are, where the bleacher section can't make the outside work, so Savachi hangs in there.
Or he'll just make a pass when someone makes a mistake like Savachi just did. I was just about to give you my little speech there, and Savachi almost threw that out the window with just a mistake. And of course, Martin doesn't want to get roosted, and I think sometimes just drop it back a few bike lengths just so it doesn't hurt. Every time he gets close, he looks like he wants to make it happen, and then he'll drop back off a little bit. But look at this. He jumps to the inside. He's got the line.
And Martin in the lead. Very impressive. Like you said, he waited for his shot. He got close, and then he took it. And then off rhythm for Savachi in that section allows Martin to open it up.
Wow, Savachi landed up against those banners. So Martin now to the lead. We said it before, maybe not. Doesn't come out of the gate like a cannonball necessarily, but he's the new junior version of the Diesel. Just keeps getting stronger as the motor goes on. But at the end of the day, they always say you only need to lead 1 lap. Just make sure it's the last one.
couple times this year, he's done pretty much exactly that. All right, take us through this as Martin makes the pass on Savacci. A couple of mistakes for the 37 got him close, and then he was able to pull the trigger.
Yeah, they come out of this section here, and then watch Savacci. He's going to the outside, but unable to double there. Martin goes for it. All he did was put the bike there. Now he controls that inside, controls the corner. Savacci has no other option but to try and just go the long way around. But right there, Martin takes the line away. Signed, sealed, delivered. Thank you very much. And he now leads the race, exactly what he came here to do.
Oh, he can make up a lot of ground on Muscan, who has lost some ground here. Back and forth. That would be a big swing. Here we go. Martin trying to get away, score max points in this moto, and we're not far from our first 450 moto. Carlos Rivera readying Ryan Dungey's ride for that. Taking on the toughest projects with cutting-edge technology. Titan and his team fight for America and show the world what it takes to be American-built. Monday at 9 Eastern and Pacific on MAV TV. Well, certainly an intriguing battle here at Unadilla in our first 250 moto, a Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. Joey Savacci led most of this race. Jeremy Martin able to get around him. 66, Chris Aldridge here is third, and he was under fire from Marvin Muscan, who was in fourth, but they pulled back away from Muscan here on the number 25. So the Red Bull KTM man has to go back to work.
Yeah, he does. At this point, he's going to lose 7 crucial points to Jeremy Martin, which will take it from 4 to 11. 11, yeah, it's not massive. It's not as big as Martin would ever want, but it's a lot bigger than Muscan would like, especially coming in how close it was. You know, to finish right behind him is a little bit different. But right now, this is exactly what Jeremy Martin would have hoped for. I get the moto win and get a couple guys who are riding well today at Unadilla between me and my title contender. And that's exactly what's happened so far. But there's still some time. Depending, actually, if you look at the timing clock, we got about 1:20, and they're probably about that same distance from the finish line. There was a lapper down there.
We're going to show you the start here, by the way, and how Savacci was able to control the lead early. Muscan actually led Martin early in this one. He went down. Here's your motorsport.com whole shot replay.
Well, Savacci just crushes the start. I mean, that wasn't a great angle to see it, but no disputing he got the whole shot. See a few riders going around the outside.
Oh, all right, Grant.
Of the whole track.
Oh, okay.
But no, you know, they don't get anything. But here's actually the whole shot line. So it's after the second corner, but either way, it doesn't change the outcome. But Savacci he was about a bike length ahead of everyone coming down that start straight. There was just a green Kawasaki ahead of the big line across the track behind him.
So Savacci used that whole shot to lead the first half of this race. Now he's back to second. Aldridge is third. Now I heard from Mitch Payton that there was a little bit of a talking to Aldridge, telling him to pick it up. And it has certainly worked, because this is the best performance we've seen out of him since the opening round of the season. 8 races, or 9 races actually in between.
Whoa.
You rode for Mitch?
Whoa.
Have you?
Whoa.
What happened to Muscan?
Muscan just...
Where is he?
He basically just checked right up, like slowed way down. I thought something happened with the bike.
Is he back on?
Well, he took his hand off and he was adjusting his goggle or something, but I thought his bike had died.
Did he go off the track?
No.
Just slowed down. That's a inopportune time to have that happen. He had worked so hard to get Aldridge, and now there's only 2 laps to go to get him back again.
I think he's having vision issues. You see, he keeps pulling his hand up, and you can see a tear off the left side of his goggle strap on the helmet. See that clear plastic thing flapping in the wind? I'm wondering if he's running out of tear-offs, because it looked like he put his hand up to try and do something with, to adjust the vision, whether it's pull off some old tear-offs, wipe off some mud if he did yank all his tear-offs off. But either way, definitely looked like he's struggling with some vision issues.
So once he gets close to Aldridge like he was,
then he
probably can't see.
He can't pull tear-offs, or he's run out of tear-offs. Wow. And sometimes what happens is basically, some of you may understand what I'm talking about, some of you may not, but tear-offs are basically clear plastic strips across the goggle, and they stack them on top of each other. And a lot of these are laminates. They actually laminate them together, and so it's very easy to go grab a tear-off and then actually yank the whole stack, because they're laminated together. You got to kind of peel them. It's like almost opening a can sometimes. It's a little technique to it. You can't just yank.
Yeah, and that is not easy to do when you're riding a motocross bike at speed. So Aldridge still third. And Musquin closing back in, but only a lap and a half to try to get him. And Savatgy is not too far up the road. So if Musquin can put in an absolute blazing last lap, he might have a shot at finishing second and minimizing some of the damage as Martin is in position to win the moto.
Well, I was talking about the time, and time had just expired, so they did get the 2-lap card. Maybe for Marvin, not a bad thing, but right now he can see 2 Pro Circuit Kawasaki's in front of him. Watch this. This is what I was talking about the previous lap. They're coming up to the section. So watch Chris Aldridge on the Kawasaki. He's fine, but watch Musquin. You see him there doing something. Now watch here. He takes both hands off, and
Jeez.
I don't know if he was shaking maybe some dirt out of it or what happened, but definitely some vision issues for the number 25.
Back up to speed now.
But if his vision's not too bad, he can see that there's 4 valuable points right in front of him. 2 green bikes that he can get to. But they're coming to the white flags. The time's running out for Musquin. You don't have much time. You got to hang it out. You got to dig deep. If your goggles aren't the greatest, go for it. You know, if you tip over, you got what? Almost 20 seconds over the Christian Craig is in 5th. Go for it. That's what I say.
This could be a championship deciding moment here. Every point could matter with only a 4-point difference coming into this race.
We talked about spoilers. Who would have thought that the Kawasaki boys were going to help a Yamaha rider and not help a KTM guy? Obviously not intentional, but that's just how it's working out. But Aldridge is ridden good. Musquin is close. Any mistake from either one of these 3 is going to change the outcome of this race. Look at Musquin to the inside, changing up that rhythm.
He's got a chance now. He's jumping it differently than Aldridge, but it wasn't enough to pull up alongside him. And you see Savatgy is still within sight as well. Can Musquin get at least 1? As you said, 7-point differential between a 1st and a 4th, which is where Musquin!
Oh my goodness, sorry for yelling. I thought he was going to go flying there. I think it either caught the rut or broke out of the rut, but 9 out of 10 people would have never saved that. That just shows you how
the landing was actually shockingly smooth, considering he was almost off the bike in midair. Could ask your buddy Travis Pastrana about that section of the course.
Oh yeah, he knocked himself out there right in front of me the one year.
Yep.
And man, it was
a
violent crash. Yeah.
And it was on the last lap just like this. So they've said it forever. No leader is safe on a track that's this rough.
That finish line.
Yeah, but Martin appears to have it under control.
It's pretty safe, but it's not even that big of a lead. Look, you saw Savatgy in the background.
It's only 3 seconds.
Yeah, but I bet you once it crossed the line, it'll have shrunk.
Closer than that. Yeah. Well, they're pushing. Martin was just controlling it up front. Yeah. Savatgy and Aldridge were under fire from Musquin. Great racing here at Unadilla, but only 1 run around the sweeper. And yeah, you can see Savatgy back there. But only this sweeper turn remains between Martin and a very clutch moto win. Again, it took him 9 minutes and 59 seconds to get it going. But once he got it going, they couldn't stop him. Yes.
Right now.
There it is. Martin wins, and here comes Savatgy and Aldridge to just edge Musquin, who immediately takes the goggles off. He is angry. And you know what, man? That's just racing, because we saw goggle issues for other riders of the mud races. You're riding in these conditions, anything can happen to anybody.
Well, to give you an example, he's wearing 100% goggles, just like the man who won the moto.
Yeah,
so it's just
same equipment. Yep.
It's not always the goggles' fault. It's just wrong place, wrong time.
I mean, you're getting pelted by rocks the whole time. It's impossible to expect them to hold up through every single lap, every single moto. All right, we'll be back to talk to our winners after this. Back at Unadilla, a fantastic first 250 moto. Here's our Lucas Oil race recap. We'll show you how it went down. Great start for Joey Savatgy in the 37. Grabs the motorsport.com hole shot. Marvin Musquin in 3rd. Innocent crash.
Silly mistake though. He had nowhere to go. Slides out, and then it just made it a little more difficult because he was ahead of well, not Cooper Webb. Sorry, he had mud on there. It looked like a 1. Webb just lost the front end, gone on that drop off cam. He stuck under the bike, asking for help.
Finished the moto in 18th. He was unhurt, but took a while to get up. Jeremy Martin, late in the race, finally catches Savatgy, makes the move, gets to the inside over a series of jumps, and from there he would take off. Savatgy would close back in at the end because he was under pressure from his teammate Aldridge and Marvin Musquin. Here they all come across the line. Martin takes the win. Let's send it to Georgia.
Jeremy Martin, huge congratulations on that first moto win. Wasn't the best start, but you made your passes. It took a while to get around Savatgy, but then you just kept it clean and consistent, and you finished up front.
Yeah, I got a pretty good start. Was like in the top 5, and Aldridge got around me, and the track's pretty gnarly. It's a little bit harder base than last year, so not quite as many soft ruts, and it's pretty slick underneath. So the track's tricky. Was able just to get my groove, work my way forward, and I knew Joey was going to be tough to pass. I mean, he was going for it, and I just was smart, and I kind of studied him a little bit, and then found a spot to pass him. And I just couldn't do it without the whole Star Racing team: Yamaha, Dunlop, Yamalube, Rockstar, Answer Bell, 100%, Mickey Thompson Tires, Garnet, Deegan 38, KYB, my mom and dad back home. My dad's been doing a great job helping me prep the track for during the week. Johnny O'Mara, my brother, and Pedro, my race mechanic, and Chad Schweitzer. Thank you, guys.
Well, congratulations, extending that points lead to 11 points now on Marvin Muscan.
Thanks, Georgia. Here are the results. 8th moto win of the year for Martin. So he and Muscan are now tied in that category. They're darn close in pretty much every statistical breakdown. Savacci and Aldridge both on the podium. That'll make Mitch Payton and the Pro Circuit folks happy. Let's check in with Savacci and Georgia.
Yes, congratulations, Joey Savacci. I mean, a perfect hole shot you had, and then you led the entire race until 5 minutes to go. I'm sure you were a little bit bummed about, not winning, but you really showed your speed, and it showed what you've got, what you can prove.
Yeah, like you said, it was good. We got to a good start. My Monster Energy, Pro Circuit, Kawasaki, Dunlop tires. We got the gate, amazing, and just trying to. Been working down hard at the farm, trying to get better and better, and. Like I said, at Millville, we figured some things out, and last weekend was unfortunate. It's muddy, and things happen. Sometimes they're out of my hands, but, I have a great team behind me. Mitch, Bones, my trainer, Clint, Jeannie, Ricky, just Big Rick, everyone down at the farm is amazing. Specialized Bell helmet, Scott goggles, Alpine Star, Thor gear, KMC. Just, I can't thank everybody enough. They do so much for me, and I'm glad to lead some laps finally. It's been a while since I led some laps, so regroup, get ready for Moto 2, and try to do the same thing.
Congratulations, well done. Second place for Joey Savacci.
And you never know how things break. They like to say in motocross, a second in Moto 1 is as good as a win. Savacci wins Moto 2. He's your overall winner for the day. You can watch that at 5:30 p.m. Eastern on NBCSN. That'll be our second 250 Moto on television. We'll have 450 Moto 2 live on NBC later today at 4 Eastern time. And let's send it back to Georgia.
Yes, Chris Aldridge, congratulations. I know that you and Mitch Payton have been wanting this. You've got a podium in this first moto, still got the rest of the day to go ahead. However, what's changed? What kind of brought you here to be able to get that speed in this moto?
This is the first race I'm actually coming to that I've actually raced at. It was my first one last year, and it's just nice to come back to something I know how the track is, and it was great to finally get a good start. That helped a lot, and the whole team, we've been working great, the whole Monster Energy Pro Circuit team, so it's going to go good for the rest of the day.
Well, perfect. Congratulations and best of luck. It's the second podium since Hangtown for Chris Aldridge there.
Grant, you said the rookie, 66 Aldridge, first race he raced last year when he came out of the amateurs. It paid off for him. Savacci rode well also, but it's all about Jeremy Martin. He has to win motos late in the year. He just did.